teacups, welcome back to Spill the Tea Lou, welcome back to Teacup Castle, welcome back to more transfer news. All of the stuff we didn't get through on this afternoon's transfer show, we're going to get talking about this evening. Plenty of it's actually to do with City, so it's all going to string together and make sense. We're going to speak about the Enzo Fernandez deal or no deal deadline. Has an offer been placed? Has an offer not? There's different rumours going about the place since this afternoon. We're going to talk a little bit about the rejected bid by Barcelona for Manchester City's Rodri. We are also going to speak about Reijnders because I think there's a little bit of a misunderstanding about that, but we're going to speak about it. But before we get stuck into all that, first of all, I'm going to say hello to the teacups. Then I'm going to address poor Shem. Poor Shem is having a bit of a nightmare about the Savinho offer that's out there. So we will, before we get stuck into Man City, breaking news out there about a Savinho offer for £80 million. We're going to address that as well before poor wee Shem's head just totally combusts. And then if we've time at the end, lads, we're just going to talk about whatever you want, really. So, before we get stuck into all that, of course, a rite of passage when we start our shows, we must say thank you to All Boxed Up, who's unboxed the show, Rob Always United, getting the mascot in the chat, the Foxy, the number one Foxy's in the chat with us this evening. Thank you to both of the lads so very, very much. Very generous on all of the streams. So much appreciated. So special shout out, as always, to All Boxed Up and to Rob. That's how we'll know. If All Boxed Up and Rob were ever to be abducted by aliens, we would know because the super stickers would stop and we'd be like, what? So we would know. So shout out to the lads. Shout out to the teacups as well. I see Shem, don't you worry, we're going to sort you out. Moonshine in the chat. Of course, Rob is there. All Boxed Up is there. Mama Flossie is there. Who else have we got? I saw you all having a good natter earlier on. Everybody was having a good old natter, all sorts going on. So there is. I'm sure I saw Daz. There he is. There's Daz. So hello and welcome to Daz, who joins us this evening as well. I'm going to go first. I'm going to go to the Savinho one first, okay? Which, to be fair, does also relate to City. So it's all, we're basically doing a City stream. Where is Mr. DJ Milkshake to tell us I told you so? Rodri's staying. But we'll say it in his honour. We're going to start, though, with Savinho. It was put out there. It's put out there, like, so there's a Spurs content creator on X called the Spurs Express. They put out Spurs news. They amalgamate basically Spurs news from different journalists. They give what the news is and they name the source of that news. So they have put out, that's where I saw it. They have put out this news. Tottenham have made an £85 million offer for Brazilian winger Savinho, reaching the figure Manchester City initially wanted. However, City are now refusing to make it easy. Savinho is determined to leave and did not take part in Thursday's training session. Now, the source on this is from Brazil, okay? Cahi Mota, and he works for Globo Esporte. Okay? He follows the following teams. He reports on the following teams. Chapecoense, Fluminense, Vasco da Gama, Flamengo, Olympiacos, and Chelsea. Okay, those are the teams that he primarily reports on. It's not just him. So there's him and Bruno Andrade, who some of you will now be familiar with because he's put out a lot of stories this summer. Some of them true, some of them not. So you've got Cahi Mota, Bruno Andrade, okay? So they are the two. It's from ESPN and Globo Esporte. I'm not saying it's definitely not true. I'm saying there's a 50-50 possibility of it being true or false because that has been the news out of Brazil throughout the summer. Some of it's been very accurate. Some of it's been complete nonsense. The eyes of the world are on them. A lot of their players are on the move. People were talking about Brazil in terms of the World Cup. They're seeing their moment. They're taking it. And some of them are absolutely running. So, neither Fabrizio nor Ornstein, who were both covering this deal and covered the initial bid to Man City, have covered this. As I said, that doesn't mean that it's not true. It does mean, Shem, don't panic just yet. I would wait until somebody who is not from the reporting cohort in Brazil says that this offer has gone in. It might happen. But all of the other stories that you're seeing about this originate currently with Caje Mota and Bruno Andrade, okay? Of mixed reliability. So hold on to your hair. Don't panic. As it stands, I would err on the side of 50-50. I would suggest probably before the night is over, we will have had a report from probably a Fabrizio, maybe even a Ben Jacobs, to say whether this is true or not. Because that seems to be the way of it this summer, is a reporter comes out with something, and if it's not true, all the other reporters are like, lies, fake news, that's lies, it's not true, lies. So if it's totally unfounded, I would imagine within the next hour to 2 hours, probably we're going to see that put out there. So don't panic, Shem. It hasn't happened yet. It would be highly interesting if City wanted 85, then Spurs offer 85, and then City goes, you know what? No, thank you. Not for any other reason than what? So as it stands, I don't quite believe it. You can probably tell. But as this moment in time, I'm not buying that. I want to see somebody else say it. Because even like that, to go from 50 million euro to 85 million pound, that's a 35 million jump and currency. I just don't know. I don't know if I believe that. We'll see. But I don't know if I believe it as it stands. So don't panic, Shem. Mr. DJ Milkshake, you're here. You're here. We were just saying it's going to be a City stream primarily this evening. Most of the stories we're covering to start with our City. I was like, where's Mr. DJ Milkshake? We're going to talk about Rodri. And he's not here to tell us Rodri's going to stay. Patrick Lynch. Patrick Lynch is in the house. Shout out to Patrick, who has arrived with a boom. He has sent out Spill the Tea Lou memberships. Thank you very much to Patrick. So those who have got memberships, give a shout out to Patrick. Winner, chicken dinner. Thank you very much. Hammers Football TV has got one. Go on, Hammers Football TV. Roy has got one. Rain has got one. Graham has got one. And Aid has got one as well. So if you're in the live chat and you've got one of those live, please do give a shout out to Patrick. If you didn't get one live and you're here live, give a shout out to Patrick. Incredibly generous with the channel all the time. Very, very, very much appreciated. So thank you so much to Patrick, who says, big up to the teacups. I love that. Big up teacup. Love it. It just never gets old. It never gets old. Sorry. Right. Let me regain my senses. W17 says, that sounds like, and I'm not trying to be, please don't take this the wrong way because you're a new subscriber, so please don't take this the wrong way. That sounds like WD14. W17. It just sounds like a variation. Sorry. It just really, that's what I thought. I shouldn't say all the things that come into my head, but I do. So, W17 says, City will potentially earn £250 million with sales this season. I can absolutely, totally 100% see that being true. We spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, maybe even a month ago at this stage. City have a large number of players they're looking to move on. They actually played a behind closed doors match where both teams were made up of players that City wanted to sell. It was like a car boot sale for your players. Come up, watch them play. It was like a cattle market. Watch them play. They're all going to play each other. Pick the one you like and send in a bid. So the ones that we don't even know about that played in that behind closed doors match, plus potentially a Reijnders who we're going to speak about, plus potentially a Rodri who we're going to speak about, plus potentially a Savinho, will they, won't they with Spurs. So I would believe £250 million minimum is what I would be suggesting. Absolute minimum. Harold is renewed his membership. Thank you so much to Harold. A teacup, a member of the teacup crew, an official teacup for 4 months, Harold. That time has absolutely flown, lads. Absolutely flown. Just so you mentioned Tromso. We face Brighton next. Tromso, Brighton. Oh, that'll be an interesting one. Tromso, Harold, the last match that Tromso were playing, wasn't it like 5-0 or something? It was like a really high scoring match. They did very, very well the last time, I'm sure of it. So shout out Harold for renewing his membership. Shout out Tromso. Let's see what they can do to Brighton. So shout out. Thank you very much, Harold. Yes, Patrick says some of the turnover of players in City is incredible, plus the fees they get. Look, everybody has their own, and I do have to say this carefully because I have to be careful what I say on YouTube, basically. So some people would suggest that the way that City got to where they are was by nefarious means. That is currently being investigated, and we cannot say one way or the other because we are not investigators. However, people can speculate, and people have speculated that they have got to where they are by nefarious means. However, what they're currently doing now to maintain that, so forget about how they've got there, we'll discuss that, but they're there now. How they're maintaining it, I actually just think they're run well. And I know what people say, because people say the same thing about Chelsea. But we went through Chelsea. We did a whole show on Chelsea, going through all the players. If they sell all of the players they want to get rid of, it is going to put the price, the total they make up. Now, the individual prices of some of the players they sell at both Chelsea and Manchester City are unusual, to say the least. That's about all I can say on that while I'm live on YouTube, because otherwise I'll get myself in trouble. Guess is cheering on Tromso. Let me see. W17 says, I have a feeling City won't sign Enzo, and at 5 p.m. Fabrizio will confirm, here we go, Buadi. Imagine. Do you know what though? Can I just say, right, I'm taking off my Man United hat for a brief moment, guys, because it never lasts very long. But just as like a petty human being, just as a human, if somebody said to me, here's your deadline, you can bet your bottom dollar, see the level of pettiness that would bring out of me. If I was Man City, I would absolutely, 5 p.m. on the button, be announcing Buadi and just not contact about Enzo, just to prove the point of who the F are you? Who the F do you think you are? Whoever you think I am, I'm not. I would get real petty about that. That was my first thought. When I saw, deadline set by Chelsea, I was like, cringe. I understand Chelsea's thinking because they need to replace him if he goes and they need time, etc, etc. But I mean, if someone comes to me and is like, do it, it's not going to be cheap and it's on our timeline, I'm like, all right, then it's not happening, sunshine, is it? I'm just going to pause there for a moment. Shout out to Patrick. Thank you so very much. You've been here so very briefly and been so very generous. So shout out to Patrick. 5 new official teacups at Teacup Castle. So very grateful as always, Patrick. Enjoy your evening and we'll catch you soon, hopefully. DJ Milkshake, full of praise for the City Academy and the infrastructure. But I have to be honest, really and truly, I would genuinely just be like, no, Don't tell me what to do. It's so petty, but that would be my reaction. Don't tell me what to do. And the thing is, right, I think Chelsea have shot themselves in the foot. I kind of think Chelsea don't want to sell him. Because if you want to sell him, you don't do that. Because now, even if Man City want him, let's say Man City go and put in a bid before 5 o'clock on Friday. What happens then? Everybody goes, oh, well, Chelsea said jump and City said how high. Even if this was being worked on behind the scenes for ages. Even if Man City and Maresca really, really were dying to buy Enzo Fernandez, which I don't even believe, by the way. If they now go and do it, what it looks like publicly is Chelsea have laid down the law and then Man City have followed the rules and done what they were told. It doesn't look good because all there's going to be is banter all over the gaff. Now, I don't think City, the club, really care about banter. But you get my point. That's actually a really fast way to make a club not bid for your player. Like, that could have been communicated privately. There's only one team in for him. Why has that been put out there into the public arena? Just send them an email and be like, right, lads, we need to know by Friday 5 p.m. Otherwise, we won't have time to replace him. If we don't hear anything by then, we'll assume you don't want him. I'm sure they've got emails. I'm sure they've got voicemails. I'm sure they can text each other. They've probably got WhatsApp. To have that put out there publicly via a journalist who I believe is probably putting the truth of the information he's been told out there, I actually think, and this is conspiracy, it almost feels like a ploy by Chelsea to put City off bidding. Because I can't think of any other impact it would have. City aren't going to go, oh, well, Chelsea have told us we have to bid by then. Let's do it. Do you know? So if I'm City, I'm going to get real petty. I'm either here we going on Buwadi at 5 p.m. on the button, or I'm waiting until Monday, way after the deadline, and then putting in a bid and being like, all right, let's see. I'm calling your bluff. Do you really want to keep him? Or did you just think you were being a big fella? Do you know what I mean? Maybe Chelsea thought it was a really good idea. Maybe somebody at Chelsea went, do you know what's really clever? Let's do this. Chelsea are too good at selling players to think that's a good idea. So to me, and it's purely conspiracy theory, I just don't believe it. Like, I think they don't want to sell him, is what I think. Now, I do see, and we're going to speak about this. So the final boss is in the house. I am going to come to your comments, but I do just want to address this. So the final boss and 71 Nixie have both said City have sent an unofficial bid today. Supposedly there's been a €120 million bid today. That has been poo-pooed. So let us discuss that because that has been out in the news cycle. And I think it's very important that we talk about these things, okay? So exactly what we were talking about there with the Savinho bid and the source for that, that's exactly what we're going to do with the Enzo Fernandez supposed bid. Okay, so we're going to cover that because I have seen this. Now, let me see. So, it came out from CL Merlo, right? So CL Merlo, Cesar Luis Merlo. That is his name, okay? That's his name, okay? He came out and he said, he was the source who said, Man City have offered €120 million for Chelsea's Enzo Fernandez after deciding to make the effort at the request of Enzo Maresca. The manager is pushing to finalise a deal and has asked Man City to do everything possible. Chelsea's response is currently unknown. So this is the deal that you guys are referring to, that this bid, this €120 million bid has supposedly been put in according to Cesar Luis Merlo. Okay? Now, Ben Jacobs has since come out and said, as of right now, Chelsea have not received a bid for Enzo Fernandez. The Friday 5 p.m. deadline remains in place for that to change, and the terms are clear. Chelsea must receive a written bid of £120 million net with privately communicated payment terms. All interested parties have been informed, including Manchester City. If a suitable bid is not received before the deadline, Fernandez will remain a Chelsea player until at least the summer of 2027. So, whether it's verbal or written, supposedly the bid just doesn't exist. And while some people would question Ben Jacobs' credibility, I think he's a bit more credible than Cesar Luis Merlo. Do you know what I mean, lads? He's not exactly a Premier League reporter, is he? So whether you think that Ben Jacobs is super reliable or not, I would believe him who does report on the Premier League and is clearly getting information from Chelsea, obviously. I believe him quicker than I believe Mr. Merlo, okay? Maybe if it was about a different league, I would believe Merlo. But on the Premier League, I'm going to trust Ben Jacobs. Now, I see a number of you are saying written, so the bid was verbal. No, let me read it again. Listen with your ears this time. As of now, Chelsea have not received a bid for Enzo Fernandez. That is the sentence. Has not received a bid for Enzo Fernandez. I can explain it to you. I can read it to you. I cannot understand it for you. Have not received a bid. No bid. Not a verbal bid. Not a bid that doesn't count. No bid whatsoever. That's what it says. Now, maybe he's wrong, but that's what it says. It doesn't say have received a verbal bid. It says have not received a bid. It then goes on to explain what kind of bid they expect, what would count, what their parameters are, plus some extra details that haven't been released. But the very first sentence, have not received a bid. I don't know what other way it can be said for it to be clearer. Now, if you just don't believe Ben Jacobs, totally fair. But I mean, the sentence is very clear. No bid. There hasn't been a bid. Now, I did see someone there say Fabrizio has said it as well. I haven't actually been on Fabrizio's page. I saw it on Ben Jacobs, but I will go double check. Let me see. Has Fabrizio come out on it? I haven't seen Fabrizio say it, so I really don't know. Holy moly, there's a whole heap of here we goes, lads. There's here we goes all over the place. Right, let's calm down. We've had a here we go for Tijani Reijnders. We've had a here we go for Badiashile. We've had here we goes everywhere. Hold on till I scroll past all the here we goes. So I don't know if he has said anything about it. There's all Michael Carrick. There's Jed Spence. Alfred. I can't see anything from Fabrizio. So if he has, fair enough. But there you go. No, I found it. Chelsea are yet to receive any official bid for Enzo Fernandez. If there's been no bid, nothing can be accepted, guys. I don't know how else to say that. So, according to two quite prominent journalists that cover the Premier League, no bid. Chelsea have published publicly what they want. And I'm sorry, the same way that I don't 100% trust the journalists at ESPN and Globo Esporte when it comes to Savinho, I don't 100% trust Cesar Luis Merlo, based in Buenos Aires, about Man City and Chelsea. Okay, guys? I just don't believe it. Sorry. If he's been told anything, it's by Enzo's agent. It's not by anybody else. And I'll be honest, even then, the agent's working for the player, not the clubs. So I personally don't believe it. If you choose to believe Cesar, absolutely entirely up to you. I personally don't, basically, is what it comes down to. So I suppose it depends on which source you trust more. I believe Fabrizio and Ben, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. I suppose, like, I actually genuinely think Chelsea have made it harder for City to come in. I think Chelsea just don't want to sell him now. I think it would be too awkward. They think it would be too awkward to replace him. They'd rather just not sell him. So they've just made it really awkward. Daphios in the house. Hello to Daphios. Yeah. Daphios is laughing about the ultimatum. I'm convinced this ultimatum is because they don't want to sell him. Because now if City come in and go by the ultimatum and put in a bid of 120 million before 5 p.m. on Friday, it just looks like Chelsea's absolutely dog walked them. So I just don't think... it's a bad look now if they do it. I think Chelsea's trying to put City off, is my theory on it. Hello to Aussie Ange and welcome. Hello, your Empress. Oh, I like that. We'll keep Empress. I do like that. That's a good one. Am I pleased to see world-beating football by Spurs being played away and at the Champagne League coming this season? The treble is coming for Spurs, says Aussie Ange. Love it, love it. You have to have a bit of delulu about your club. You have to enjoy it. You really do. Let me see. 71 Nixie is convinced City are going to pay on Friday. I don't see it. I really don't. Well, maybe they're less petty than me. But if it was me, I'd just be like, even if I was going to buy him before, even if I was planning to put in a bid of 120 before 5 p.m. Friday, I would now just cancel it. Even if I was going to do it. It's like, do you know when there's dishes there and you know they need done and you're building yourself up to it and you're going to do it and then somebody says, them dishes need washed. Well, I'm not washing them now. I might even going to wash them before. Zero chance. It's not happening. They're staying there for a week now until somebody else does them. Do you know what I mean? I just don't see it. I do not see it. Roz is in the house with us. Hello to you, got Roz. Starlord has joined us. Hello and big up to Starlord, who says, big up everyone. Just wanted to say hello to absolutely everyone, even the ops. I'm not feeling so well, so just going to listen in. Oh, we'll feel better soon, Starlord. Sending lots and lots of love. Danny is in the chat with us as well. Hello to Danny. I'm pretty up to date. Mr. DJ Milkshake says, I'm all for being petty. You and me both. Let me see. Here we go, Bonkers. Here we go round the twist. Right, okay, so there's Enzo. Believe what you will, I don't think there's a bid in. I actually don't. I think whatever chance there was before, I don't think a bid goes in now. I think City get petty. I think City just goes, you know what, keep him. And I actually think that's what Chelsea want. I think the person that's going to be the most annoyed about this is Enzo and maybe Maresca. Enzo and Maresca, they're like Romeo and Juliet, star-crossed manager and player. They want to be reunited, and the clubs are like, no. They're at enemy clubs now and they just want to be back together. So yeah, I will be surprised. Maybe it happens. I will be surprised. If City put in a bid before 5 p.m. on Friday, they're bigger people than me, because I'd just be like, no, I'm feeling petty now. We will see what happens. Yeah, like people there in the chat going, fake reports, causing fear and panic. Love it. This is what the transfer window has been missing, to be fair. The transfer window got very boring. There wasn't a lot happening. There was no panic. There was no chaos. It just got a bit dry. This is what we've been looking for. So we'll see what happens from there. Fair play to Cesar. At the very least, he got tongues a wagging, didn't he? He got everybody talking. The next deal that we're going to talk about, DJ Milkshake keeps telling us he thinks Rodri. DJ Milkshake's hot take, 2 weeks ago now, was that Rodri will not leave. That's what DJ Milkshake told us. Manchester City, according to Sky Sports News, have rejected a new £55 million bid from Barcelona for Rodri. Yesterday, Sky Sports said that Barcelona were expected to raise their offer to between 50 and 60 million pound. They literally bid in the middle of that, 55 million pound. Manchester City have rejected it. So, they're not looking to sell off 71 Nixie. They're not looking to sell off Rodri fast. In fact, they're not looking to sell Rodri at all. They flat out told Real Madrid no because they bid €40 million. Barcelona has got the players' buy-in, same as Real Madrid did. They've put in a £55 million bid. It's been rejected. So they're not in a hurry to sell Rodri. They would prefer to keep him. Now, whether they do or not, I don't know. But, I mean, how much higher will Barcelona go? Because let's not forget, they've bought a rake of players already this summer. They've bought a whole heap of players already. Rodri really wants to go back to Spain. Real Madrid are now out of the running. City are happy, supposedly, according to reports, to keep Rodri, and they've just rejected £55 million. How much higher will Barcelona be able to go? How many levers do they have left, given all the players they've already signed this summer? I just don't know. I thought it was done, like he was away. I just don't know how much higher Barcelona will go. And what figure? What is the rumoured figure? Maybe you guys can tell me. What is the figure that supposedly City will willingly accept? Because they've said that they'd rather keep him, but if there was a proper offer, they would take it. What's a proper offer? Like, let's see. How much are City rumoured to want for Rodri? Let's see. Yeah, I know what they've rejected. Tell me what they want, man. They want £70 million, apparently. Okay, I've got it. So, according to the reports, Barcelona's first bid was £38.5 million. Their second bid, according to this, was 51.3 plus £5 million. City won 70. According to this, more or less. Will Barcelona go to 70? I don't know. That's a big jump from where they're at. They started at 38.5. Like 70-75 is double. I don't know if they go that high. Mr. DJ Milkshake, I have to say, your hot take might end up being completely right. Because I don't think they're going to go to £70 million. I think he probably is worth that, especially in this market, especially how good he was in the World Cup, especially what we know we can do. So I think he's probably worth 70. When we look at the prices some other players are going for, I think £70 million for Rodri is very good. I don't know if Barcelona will pay it though. It's almost double their initial offer. I don't know if they'll do that. And like, even if you take it in euro, because Barcelona operate in euro, their first bid was €45 million. £70 million is about €80 million. So it is almost double their initial offer. And there's always a bit of haggling. You don't normally double though. You don't normally double. You might be absolutely correct, Mr. DJ Milkshake. And we will give you the credit where it's due if that's what's happened. They want to stretch the payment over 3 to 4 years. Yeah, well, given the issues you've had with them over previous payment of installments and defaulting, I can understand why you wouldn't want to let them stretch it out, because they're full of lies and nonsense when they deal with you guys and many other people. But you get my point. Africa King is with us. Hello to Africa King. 71 Nixie with a good point, actually. Barcelona are waiting for Ferran Torres to leave to PSG to be able to pay the price to City for Rodri. That could very well be true. We've talked a number of times this transfer window about the dominoes needing to fall. There you go, you're saying the dominoes need to fall. We've spoken several times this window about the dominoes need to fall. One needs to go and then the rest follow. So I definitely think that's a good possibility. They're waiting on the money for Torres to be able to pay City for Rodri. That far I'm with you. Then Dafios and Nixie have got a little bit further and said, and then that money will be used to buy Enzo Fernandez. I think that money will then be used to buy Buadi, if I'm honest with you. I don't think it's for Enzo. I think it's for Buadi. So I do think there's another domino. I just don't think it's the one for Chelsea. I don't know if your club want to sell Enzo. I really don't. I don't know why. If they genuinely wanted to sell Enzo, I think that was a really silly thing to say. And I don't think Chelsea are that silly. I think they don't want to sell him and they've put that out there on purpose just to wind City up. I think the next domino is going to be Buadi. I think you'll need another, but I just don't think, at this point, I don't think it's going to be Enzo. Personally, but you can go back, you say you told me so. You got Rose says, Barcelona lowballing? You're kidding me. Oh, we know. We know. Bonkers says, according to Fabrizio, Alexi McAllister's dad has said that he will stay at Liverpool. Well, it was only a couple of weeks ago that Alexi McAllister's dad came out and said, well, we don't know what Alexi's future is. We'll have to see at the end of the season. So I don't know if I believe his dad, because his dad seems to say a lot of stuff. I was only reading other quotes about him the other week, and he was saying he was the one that started the whole rumours about Alexi McAllister by saying we don't know what the future holds for him. His dad started this mess. The final boss says, I think we are just giving ourselves enough time to find a replacement with that deadline, which I would think is totally fair because he's an important part of your squad. He is one of your senior players. I think that's fair. You need a time to replace him. However, that can be communicated privately with all the other terms of the deal. The fact that it's been put out there publicly is why I think that you're messing with them. It's not the deadline so much. It's the fact that the deadline was put out publicly via journalists rather than communicated privately. And I don't think it's been leaked by like an intermediary. That sounds, the way Ben Jacobs has written that, it sounds like he's had that information directly from Chelsea, which makes me think Chelsea have put it out, which makes me think they're on the wind up. Do you know what I mean? But the deadline I don't have an issue with. How the deadline is being communicated, I think, is why you're on the wind up. Let me see. Nixie says, Enzo wants to leave, but Chelsea don't want to sell him if they don't get 120. They made that clear to him and his agent. Yeah, even as far back as when he wanted to go to Real Madrid, and Real Madrid publicly said, well, we don't want you, we friend. Thank you very much for your interest. No, thank you. And I have to say, I think when that came out, we sort of said at the time, City's the only other realistic sort of proposition for him if he does leave Chelsea. He really wanted Real Madrid. If he cannot get Real Madrid, I think a reunion with Enzo Maresca would be second on his wish list. But I also don't blame Chelsea for standing strong. He's their asset. He adds a lot to their team. I mean, I personally, if a player wants out that badly and they're a little bit toxic, let them go, would be my attitude. If it was United, I would just want him to be sold and get rid of him. But I also don't blame Chelsea for standing their ground. Get your price. And in the clash of the teams that get their money for their players, so City get massive money for relatively unknown players. Chelsea do the same. These are two teams. Chelsea and City are the selling teams. They're the teams that make the money from the sales where people go, how have they done that? So of all the teams Chelsea are going to give an easy ride to, it's not going to be City, is it? It's absolutely not going to be City. The clash of the selling titans in the Premier League. Chelsea aren't going to back down now. So I don't blame Chelsea. It's just not what I would do. I'd just be like, just get rid of them. It's not worth it. But I totally understand where they're coming from. I also totally understand City being like, well, we want him, but we're not paying silly money. Like, are you for real? Do you know, I understand all parties. I understand all parties involved. Meanwhile, Africa King is confused what Enzo Fernandez even is, let alone how good he would be or how much. Let me see. What else have we got? No, I'm pretty up to date with it. Mama Flossie says, have you hit the like button? Excellent question from Mama Flossie. Always on the ball. Have you hit the like button? I know we're having a good time. We're having a great old natter. Please do smash the like button. It really helps the channel out. What you'll find, guys, because we do have a few new subscribers in the chat, ye lads are very welcome. What you will find in the chat is we do just have a conversation. It's not like rage bait, just hammer someone else's team, like banter central kind of vibing. It's a bit more like an actual just grown-up normal people conversation. We're very chilled here at Teacup Castle, so ye lads are more than welcome, but I suppose every channel has a sort of a different vibe. Our vibe is a bit more like actual conversation. A little bit of laughing and joking, but actual conversation, which makes it a bit more enjoyable, I think. You Got Rose says, wouldn't surprise me if Barcelona started making offers in Japanese yen in an effort to confuse people. Oh, Rose, that's my favourite one today. I have just told these new subscribers what a serious, regular, normal channel we are, and that's the next one I read out. Oh, the timing on that couldn't have been any better if you tried. That was excellent. I'm going to read it again without laughing in the middle of it. Okay. Right, I'm going to try it again. It wouldn't surprise me if Barcelona started making offers in Japanese yen in an effort to confuse people. Oh, it's just as funny the second time. Well done, Roz. That was a good one. Oh, that one's tickled me a little bit. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if you can tell. I agree. Great point by Roz. I think most of us that have dealt with Barcelona in the last few transfer windows would probably agree across the board on that. They're just an absolute nightmare. They're an absolute nightmare. Anything to get away from paying the actual amount they should be paying. Unbelievable. We are chilled, says Guess. We're just not normal. Fair. That's true. But sticking with City, it is the City show this evening. Totally accidentally. It's just all the stories at the minute are City. So at the minute, right, we've done Savinho, real bid, fake bids. We've done Enzo, real bids, fake bids. We've done Rodri, real bid, denied. So now we're on to Reijnders, real bid, real deal, accepted, here we go. This has happened really fast. So this one was it Nixie said that to me? This one has happened super fast. So I actually saw it, to be fair, from David Ornstein, but Fabrizio Romano did have it out. So Fabrizio had said, understand Al Qadsiya are in advanced talks with Manchester City to sign Reijnders, club-to-club agreement, close around 60 million fee, but green light still needed from the Dutch midfielder. So at the time of me going live, obviously, still unknown. Nottingham Forest were still keen as of 8 a.m. this morning. But it all depends on Reijnders' decision. David Ornstein had followed that up in The Athletic. Al Qadsiya in advanced talks to sign Tijani Reijnders from Manchester City. Deal for 28-year-old midfielder not agreed, but Al Qadsiya working to finalise with Manchester City and Netherlands international in the next days. So at 9 a.m. this morning, they thought it would take another couple of days. It turns out it was just a matter of time, because Fabrizio Romano has now posted Tijani Reijnders says yes to Al Qadsiya, and all parties have now a verbal agreement. Here we go. Man City agreed to receive €61 million as revealed today. Clubs exchanging documents now ahead of signatures. Reijnders didn't train as he's waiting to fly to Saudi. So there we go. €61 million. Tijani Reijnders is going to leave Manchester City on his way to Al Qadsiya. Documents are already being exchanged. Signatures imminent. Imminent signatures. So that was quite fast. That was quite fast. So it goes to show, even with the same club, when they're willing to sell a player and when they're not so happy to sell a player, they do not want to sell Rodri. They're absolutely not willing to negotiate on his price. Reijnders, €61 million. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best. Goodbye. Do you know, it is the difference between who they want to sell and who they want to keep. And I see DJ Milkshake is saying, I'm sad to see Reijnders go. I thought he was going to have a banger seasons. Maybe he will. Maybe he will, just not for City. You might be right. He might be about to have an absolute banger season. Let me see. Sorry, I'm just laughing. There's nothing normal about us. There's not. There really isn't. Mr. DJ Milkshake says he looked quick and decisive in the pre-season. Who else do you have currently in his position, DJ Milkshake? So who's going to be there? Will you have to buy somebody to replace him as a backup, or was he sort of surplus to requirements, not getting any minutes? What will that mean for you? Will you have to have an incoming in order to replace him, or it's not really a big deal? In terms of here we goes, this one has also happened at more or less the same time. So within an hour of each other, these here we goes have happened, not related to Manchester City, but related to our show that we did the other day. So where is my my Chelsea list? There we go. So we said Chelsea needed to get rid of 17 players. That's what we said the other day. 17 too many. One of them is gone. And one of the ones off our list, actually. So Napoli agree a deal, also from Fabrizio, to sign Benoit Badiashile from Chelsea. Here we go. Club to club verbal agreement done. €3 million loan fee. So there is a loan fee. 1 million in add-ons on the loan fee and a €27 million buy option clause. Salary also covered. New centre-back is coming in from Massimiliano Allegri. So, €3 million loan fee, €1 million add-ons on the loan fee, salary completely covered, €27 million buy option added to that. Now, what I want to do, does this pen work? Badiashile is now on loan. He was one of the ones we put on our list. Guys, we're doing good. We're doing good at this. I am going to come to your comment there, Mr. DJ Milkshake. I see you answering me. So I am going to come to your comment. But we did 2 shows. We did one on Chelsea. We did one on Spurs. The Spurs one, we said they needed to get rid of 8. 2 of the people on our list were Romero and Spence. Both now sold. Romero sold. Spence sold. Within 24 hours of us saying it. Before that, 2 days before that, we did Chelsea. We said on our list of players to go, Badiashile. He's on loan. He's gone. He's out. We're doing well, guys. I'm going to keep a track of this and see how many of these we get right. It's like bingo. Cross them off as to get rid of them. But happy days. Money in for Chelsea, potentially off the books next season. If not, I'm sure they'll do something else. 1 down, 16 more to go. But see, when they start moving, they just move. They just move. But let me come back to the question I asked you about Reijnders. So, Africa King says they'll play Kovacic. And to be fair, DJ Milkshake backs that up, says Anderson. Why did I think he was a winger? I thought Reijnders was a winger. That's how much I watch City. That is how much I watch City. That's actually disgraceful. I shouldn't have admitted that out loud, but anyway. So, you have got, where is he gone? Anderson, Kovacic, Nico G, Foden, and the other Nico? He's a left back. But the answer is yes. So you don't need to replace him. You've got multiple players. You have multiple players. Davio says, don't start with this again. I'm still nervous. To be fair, the one I did for Spurs I actually think was worse than the one I did for Chelsea, if I'm honest. I thought Spurs seemed worse. Let me see. Nixie says Maresca plays 3-2-5 on attack, so the 8 on paper has to be a hybrid 8-10. Marco in the house, hello to Marco, who says the Reijnders deal looks like money laundering. People are going to say this when it comes to City, to be fair. There was something similar up above. But I'll be honest, I think Forest would have given you big money for him as well. I know what the perception is about City. I'm not out here to tell people they're wrong. It's not like naivety. I suppose for me, and I'll give an example about my own club, maybe it'll make more sense. I just see when something can't be changed. I just don't feel the need to keep going on about it. And I'm not saying people shouldn't mention it, but just to explain, because there are people who are new to the channel who maybe won't understand my way of doing things. My take is, and I am going to give you examples, I didn't want Marcus Rashford to come back to Man United. He's coming back. He's staying for the season. We just have to get on with it. I didn't want Michael Carrick to be the manager, but he is. He's here. We just have to get on with it. I would love for the Glazers to leave at my club. They're not going anywhere. In fact, they're building a stadium and upping their own money. And as much as I want them to go, me making myself miserable and angry talking about it every day isn't going to change anything. So I fully understand people talking about City and the accusations and the potential of how they got to where they are. And the potential of some of the unusual prices they fetch for their players. I totally understand why that frustrates people. If I sit and think about it, it frustrates me too. I suppose just if I did this every single time Manchester City did a deal, I would drive myself up the wall. Because do you know what? It's not going to change, is it? It's just not going to change. Like, how long has their case been ongoing? Like, I just don't think it's going to change. So until there's an actual outcome to their case, it's not something I personally, you guys belt away, it's not something I personally feel the need to just keep beating them over the head with. It's out there. People have their opinion. What's going to happen in the case is going to happen in the case. But every single time I speak about City or Chelsea, I'm not just going to hammer them with it. Like, this is the reality of the situation. Whether we like it, don't like it, agree with it, don't agree with it, have our own theories on it, etc. I think when the law was brought in to prevent anybody doing what the Glazers had done to Man United, they should have been given a time frame to get out of our club. They should have been told, what you've done is no longer allowed. It's so bad that we're setting you a deadline, you have to leave. You can't be an owner in the Premier League anymore because this was so bad what you did. But that's not what happened. It should have, in my opinion, but it didn't. So if every single time I speak about Man United, I go on and on and on about the Glazers, we would just never have a conversation because we would just go round in circles, bashing things over the head. So it's not that I don't care about these things or they're not relevant or people shouldn't talk about them. Please do. But I'm not going to talk about it every single time I speak about City or Chelsea or Man United or anybody else. Because all it does is wind me up. And it takes away from the actual conversation we're having. So as I said, you guys belt away in the chat, but you will notice when you're around for a little while, it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of effort to get into it. And I would just can't be bothered. When something comes of the court, when we have a decision, I'll speak about it. Until then, I'm probably just not going to refer to it. So I hope, Marco, I know I'm responding to kind of your comment, but it's not really at you. We've had an enormous amount of new subscribers. Since the summer started, we've had about 300 new subscribers on the channel throughout the summer. So a lot of people are new to the channel. A lot of people that kind of maybe don't know how I operate as such. There's just a little bit, I suppose, of an idea. It's not that I don't recognise these things or I don't care about them. I just see the going on and on and on about them. I think you end up getting lost in it, and then we wouldn't have had, see all the conversations we've had this evening about all those different deals. I could have just spent the whole show giving out about Man City and 61 million euro, and it's ridiculous. The fact is, he's sold, he's gone. Do they need a replacement? No, and they've got 61 million euro. That will go into their kitty for another player, Buwadi, Enzo, somebody else. So yeah, you guys feel free to talk about it. It's just not my thing. But it's not to you, Marco. It's just to explain to people that maybe don't know how I operate. I do see NS Sports has joined us as well. Hello to you. Shem are only on the way home now. That receptionist, I'd be putting in a complaint, by the way. I did see your comment earlier. I'd be putting in a complaint. 2 hours is ridiculous. And then they didn't even tell them you were there. And like, there you go. Africa King said it about Villa and Chelsea. And that's what I mean. It's always Chelsea and City. So look, we'll see. I have also seen that rumour Flossie Baleba to Newcastle. That would be disastrous. Jazz, can I do one of those types of shows about Liverpool? I can do, yeah, of course. Like what we did with Chelsea Spurs about Liverpool, like look at your squad. Of course we can, yeah, absolutely. Right, let me write that down because honestly, otherwise I'll forget. Because I'm probably going to do it with United as well. So, and by the time we come to our predictions then, we'll kind of have done it on a number of teams that'll give us a better idea of where clubs are at. So, Liverpool squad show. 100%. No problemo. Right, let me see what else are you saying. NS Sports. I don't think I understand the question. I don't actually know what Enzo's reaction is. How would you react if you were chairing a disciplinary hearing and someone did the Enzo reaction to you? What Enzo reaction? Like his celebration for his goal? I'm not sure what you mean. If they weren't acting professional, I would use it as further proof of the case I had already built, otherwise they would be in a disciplinary procedure. And I would imagine that the outcome of the disciplinary would go against them, is what I would go with, most likely. But, look, things are starting to move. Hopefully, if one of these dominoes falls, him cupping his ears, yeah, that would just go down as part of his disciplinary, like as unprofessional conduct, so just get himself in more trouble. Anybody who thinks they're being smart in those kind of settings are just normally not. But anyway, Man City. Synopsis, because we're nearly done, guys. Reijnders gone, money in. Rodri, second bid rejected. They want 70. Barcelona are only at around 55 in pounds. And Savinho sort of I don't think that offer has really gone in of £84 million by Spurs. And if that's real, Spurs have lost their minds. Lost their minds. I don't believe it. There might be a bid. I don't believe it's 84 million. In terms of where they go, the deadline, I don't think they go in after that. And if they do, they're mental. I think they go and bring Buadi. I think that's their next signing. That's going to be their next move, I think, in terms of incomings. But we will see. We will see, guys and girls. We will see. But that does bring us to the end of an impromptu City show, which just wasn't planned that way. But that's where we're at. We will be back tomorrow, 12 o'clock, more transfer news, hopefully more here we goes, hopefully more actual legitimate stories, hopefully a bit of news from my club, Man United, and then we'll just see what's happening. Thank you all so very much for being here. I really appreciate it so very much. The likes, the comments, subscribing, just getting involved. So appreciated. All the members, thank you very much for getting your memberships in, for renewing your memberships. Massive shout out to Patrick, who gifted 5 memberships earlier on at the start of the show. All boxed up, Rob Always United with their super stickers. Ye are the best. Ye are absolutely sensational. Enjoy your evening, and I will hopefully see you all tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Have a good evening, folks.